Okay, here we are.
Yes, hopefully some of you guys from the previous stream joined in. Dayana, Yastremska, Qinwen, Zheng, the second semifinal, which kind of feels like dessert. But it's still good. It's still a match that should be enjoyable, I believe. It's still something that, the top half of the women's draw obviously has been very unpredictable. And we still are at that stage where we have no idea who's going to make it. Where Zheng probably is the better player, probably the more, of course, the player with more upside for the future, but the matchup, it's like a little weird for her. So there's a lot of uncertainty about this. We'll see if one of these women can also make it competitive. Do you think that the factor of like this huge difference in terms of the rest that they got is even going to matter? I mean, they still got a day. Of course, they were playing yesterday, but like Yastremska, I think, got about 33 hours, maybe something like that, around that time frame. Whereas Zheng got like 24, more or less, of rest.
Honestly, I don't think so. I mean, Yastremska also, comes from a bigger run, starting a week earlier with the qualis matches. Then I think the rest can be enough. In the end, it's not being, a 3-setter which lasted like 3 hours or something like that. For Zheng, I think, I think it should be even from that point of view, from the physical point of view. So I don't think this is going to matter that much.
Yeah, I tend to think that as well. Although it sucks. Like, it absolutely sucks that we are at a spot like this. It shouldn't work like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, hopefully it's not a factor. Hopefully, if Qinwen loses, it's only going to be because Yastremska outplays her and not because of something like that. But yeah, the Kalinskaya free setter definitely after the opener, it did lose a lot of, let's say, the physicality aspect of it. So hopefully that's not a thing. Hopefully Yastremska also plays well, because I guess you never really know with her. She can just start the match horribly and sort of keep going like that. Of course, it hasn't really happened to her in the main draw at the Australian Open, but after all, she did lose 3 sets in the qualifying and was, I think, a set down in every match. And generally over the past 2 years or so, she's been a big mess.
Yeah, I mean, she was not winning a match in the main draw of a major since 2020. So
was she playing a lot of them though?
Yeah, she played every main draw, I think. As I remember, she was on a 10 on 11 losing streak.
Oh wow,
something like that in majors.
No, but because she had a ranking of like 150 at some point.
Probably she qualified. Because I'm watching
maybe she was just qualifying.
Table. The Wikipedia table doesn't show you, in the table if she qualified or not.
I know. So she probably qualified a few times then, I guess. But yeah, that's why I thought that maybe she had some major matches that
I mean, it was just something regarding the main draw, which also maybe shows you even that, with Yastremska, you can never really know 100% what's going to happen.
Yeah, there used to be a time when she was a consistent threat. I mean, 2019, for example.
Yeah, for sure.
She actually still hasn't won a match at the French. She's 0-4. But 2019, she was at least in the third round of all the other 3 slams. So there used to be a time when she was consistent on the tour. Then after that, doping suspension, which, by the way, of course, she was cleared of. But after that, and also some injuries, she hasn't really returned to her prime, which, right now she has the best run of her career. And let's see if she can make it even better on this Melbourne night. Ghosty says Zheng in 3. Yeah, she lost second set to Navarro, but I wasn't, I was just mentioning that she basically hasn't had a match where she was like poor, and she starts off. That's what I was going for, not necessarily that she hasn't dropped a set in the main draw, but that's
Even
she
because
just did.
dropping a set doesn't 100% mean that
Yeah, yeah.
you were off or something like that. So yeah,
Yeah,
overall,
that's what I was going for. That she basically hasn't had a bad performance, whereas in the qualifying it did seem like she was a lot more shaky. And well, she still managed to get there, and of course now is reaping the rewards with this ace serve. Well, a pretty decent first hold, and let's see if Qinwen can respond with the same. I think a big part of yesterday was Zheng being like pretty mature on the court and managing to over time adjust. So that's probably going to be one of the questions today, especially if Yastremska has a good start, whether Zheng can again like not really get the pressure, and not really feel the pressure, not really let the pressure get to her. That's what I was trying to
yeah,
say, because like she is the favorite, but is she a big one? 70% on the win predictor. I think that's a little harsh on Yastremska's chances.
yeah, I feel like too. I
Sabalenka was 59 on the win predictor before the match, I remember. And that's actually not in line with the odds. Like the odds were very similar for Zheng and Sabalenka. And I think that that is more fair than
Yeah, I
giving them
agree.
that
I agree with
10%.
this.
Yeah. Yeah. Ghosty goes to sleep. And again, he's not going to see a Qinwen Zheng performance. So
A
he's going to keep
favorite
saying
player,
that he's
his favorite
overrated.
player.
Yeah. Yeah. The doping story was basically that Yastremska had something in her organism or whatever the substance was, and eventually she managed to convince them that because she had sex, she got that with semen from her boyfriend. Yes, that's actually true. Like I'm not coming up with this. You can have various takes on that. After all, I mean, we're not doctors. We weren't there. We weren't
Yes,
testing the
exactly.
samples. So we sort of have to go with whatever the ITIA and the ITF came up with, which is that her suspension was like ended right away with immediate effect. So it wasn't even like some other players who get suspension anyway because they were like not careful enough or something. She actually just ended up getting that suspension right
Yeah,
away terminated, which of course was still a hit to her career, but yeah, less so than some of the players who have been punished for like a longer time, even if
yeah, no,
also the
exactly.
ITIA claims that they bore no significant fault. There was a funny moment, of course, when Ginny Bouchard right beat Yastremska, and she in
Yes,
Madrid, and she posted this Twitter post about like posted this Twitter post. Let's say put up this Twitter post when there was Sharapova, because she famously beat Sharapova as well after saying that Sharapova shouldn't be allowed to play because dopers shouldn't be. And she also beat Sharapova in Madrid, and she had this post where she like pointed this out, that there's something about playing dopers in Madrid, and the Yastremska win and the Sharapova win, compiling these two together. But then people told her basically
yeah,
that
and then they
Dayana was
played
weird,
again.
and yeah.
They played again. Yeah, I think it was U.S. Open qualis. Yastremska won, and she didn't shake her hand.
I didn't even
Yeah,
know that, but yeah, I can get that. I can get that. Mm.
yeah. Sometimes we feel like we can say anything on social media, you know, but it's only my
Well,
opinion. A
Bouchard
couple of
was
break
just
points here.
not familiar with. Basically, Bouchard was just not familiar with the whole details of the case.
Yeah,
Even
exactly.
if
So
the explanation seems weird, I think even Bouchard said something after the fact that yeah, she just wasn't really she just didn't read about it too much, and that she was actually sorry for that post. But of course, Yastremska still didn't find it funny, I suppose.
no. Good serve. One break point still for Yastremska. I don't know if I'm way behind or not, but
No, I chose I chose that stream that's behind you, but that's absolutely fine. You can just say whatever you want. For Goff, Sabalenka was using the one that's like pretty close to real time. But for this one, I chose the one that's probably lagging a little bit behind yours.
Yeah, here could have done a little bit better on this
Oh
return.
yeah, that's an opportunity, and
Absolutely.
especially as this match, like so far, she's come out, yeah, just hitting heavy shots and keeping Zheng on the back foot. So you expect her to maybe on second serve return always be the person who strikes first, but she just makes an error here. The Zheng first serve is something we were talking about a lot yesterday. Well, by
Yeah,
we I mean me and the chat probably because I was doing that much by myself. But yeah, the fact that she's among the top 50, she wins the most first serve points actually, but also lands the first serve the least. Obviously, it is a
yeah,
pretty big
exactly.
deal. Just a few percentages more on the first serve, and I'm not even talking about the first serve points won. I'm only talking about the literal percentage of getting them in, and her ceiling is gonna go up drastically. Of course, whether she's able to do it, we'll see. But yeah, just landing 51% of your first serves can only really be pulled off if you're winning so many points on them. And she
Yeah,
is.
and
And
here,
yesterday, to her credit, she did raise that percentage a lot in sets 2 and 3. So
here we
that
have
was
an
part of the
example of that. The first serve
yeah.
actually saved their 2 break points out of 3 so far.
It's somewhat gothish in that way as well. In that,
Mm,
yeah, it does a lot of pace, lots of good angles on it on the first serve, but then the second is definitely attackable.
yeah, that's a double fault.
Oh,
So
really?
Yastremska
Oh,
is,
I wouldn't have said that, but Hoka is smarter.
Yastremska is a fourth chance to break. Hmm.
Uh, yeah. Now I see that. Now I see that error. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a chance. She played the rally well. She moved Zheng in the way she had to, but yeah, this backhand went directly into the net.
Yeah, Qinwen squash shotting on the forehand side, somehow staying in the rally, and Yastremska just misses what probably would have been a, well, if not a point-winning shot, then something that would set her up for a winner.
Well, but she really entered the court with a clear mind, you know.
Yeah,
Even though this backhand winner um, to get a fifth break point.
yeah, we were talking about confirmation bias earlier, but I do have to say that when I'm watching this so far, I don't think it's confirmation bias if everything that I thought about the matchup is really sort of coming true for now. It is tough for Zheng, and it will be tough for Zheng as well against Sabalenka. Yastremska Sabalenka, it's really a fairly similar playstyle to me,
Mm.
where they will just be hitting huge, heavy as well, which is important, heavy shots off both wings, and really trying to take that first strike away from Qinwen. In which case, she of course isn't as like as dangerous. She can still be fine, but she's not as
Yeah,
dangerous. And there is that first break.
yeah, there is a break with a very deep backhand. She's really taking the time away from Qinwen. Um, yeah, who is also this kind of for the way she hits from the baseline. She is that kind of player which starts struggling a lot when someone takes the time away a little bit from her. Um, especially from the forehand side. My opinion, she has this very wide movement.
James says, "Is this a step up for Qinwen? Like in what way? She is the favorite. She is like the, let's say, higher quality player, but the matchup is tough. So when it comes to like whether she has to step up to it, probably if Yastremska is playing well, and also just mentally, of course, this is a big deal for the Chinese and then for both players. Honestly, at this stage, I mean, I think I said it after Świątek and
Yeah,
Rybakina fell out, but in the top half, it was just impossible to keep predicting anything. Like, literally, you could just stop and just watch, and every match is a 50-50 because every single player will feel that this is a ridiculous opportunity for them. Like, this is something that I have to take. It might like that sort of an opportunity might never come up again. Maybe Qinwen Zheng was the only real player who like was there and probably thinking, okay, I'm going to have a lot of these in the future. The others were like, oh my, oh wow, this is my chance. And
Yeah,
Qinwen still, of course, was probably and is desperate to make it as well because, as someone pointed out, I think Ghosty obviously, because he finds a lot of arguments against her on the previous stream. Like her draw to the final is really soft, has been really soft. Of course, that's not as simple as sort of just looking at the players' rankings, given where Yastremska or Kalinskaya will be after the
yeah,
Australian Open, and where Yastremska was in the past, 21st, Kalinskaya in the absolute peak of her career right now. So it's not that simple, but still, like of course, the draw for Zheng compared to even Sabalenka, it was really soft.
yeah. I mean, Jane says make it this round at a slam. Still, it's her first slam semi, so for sure, it's you know, let's say a first time for her and something she was looking for. Um, then, of course, given the situation, despite as we have mentioned, this also tough matchups, but still, I think she will be at this point a little bit disappointing if she doesn't make the final. Not that it's unacceptable because it is acceptable to lose to Yastremska, but you know. I feel like she, of course, will not be as pleased as she maybe would have been before the tournament if someone would have told her you will lose in the
Oh
semis.
yeah. Oh yeah, she loses to Świątek in the semis, and she leaves this with a very different mindset, given how Iga has been tough for her recently. Yeah, when it comes to making this round at the Slam, Jane, yeah, for a while, Zheng was like this player that we were expecting to break through at any time, but she would waste opportunities in early rounds of Slams. For example, last year here, she had a very good draw. She lost to Bernarda Pera in the second round, but then the US Open sort of changed that. She makes the quarters despite the tough match with Lucia Bronzetti, Mario's favorite Italian player, and then she of course makes the semis here. So she finally has that sort of newfound consistency. But yeah, she's only had 2 runs to the last 8. At the US Open, she lost to Arina Sabalenka, which might come up as a point of conversation when if Zheng wins this final, this semifinal, and of course
Yeah,
plays Sabalenka again. She was blown off the court by Sabalenka in New York. That has to be said. But yeah, in terms of just making this round, it's definitely more progress for her. And yeah, just the fact that she's able to convert these slightly easier draws right now. This is already something that she wasn't really showing in the past. Yastremska does save the 3 breakpoints in a row, though, with some great
yes,
serving, first and foremost.
of course. Also, a good thing. Yeah, will be top 10 as Kate is
Yeah,
saying, which is for sure a big deal for every player. She even if we were still expecting her to do it at some point, given that she has tons of points from the final part of the season.
exactly. So
Um,
there's all the potential to go upwards. And I think I said it yesterday that like if Zheng wins the title, she could be number 6 in the
Six.
rankings. And that wouldn't feel high. Like literally that's more or less where she is at the moment, I think. She like realistically,
Yeah.
because you've got the top 5 and then there's a big gap. Below that, you
Mm,
have some players who are very reliant on one result really to be there. So for Jabeur, you've got the Wimbledon points, which is basically like 1/3 of her rankings. Vondroushova, over 50% of her points are from Wimbledon. You've
yeah.
also got Sakari, who's like very reliant on Guadalajara. You've got one more player there. Oh, Muchova, of course, on the French
Mukova.
Open final. So that's also like over 33% of her points. So
Yeah,
basically, if
even if
Qinwen landed at
basically
number 6,
Mukova
it
has
wouldn't feel high.
a lot of heavy, results that made a ranking like 3. Because she was finalist in Cincinnati, she was
Semis US
semi-finalist
Open, yeah.
at the US Open, and also finalist at the French Open. So without that consistency, because also the fact that she's even often slightly injured, something like that, but she found 3 big results that basically made um her ranking being so high.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that if Zheng would make it to number
Yeah,
6
sure.
with this title or with anything later in the year, it wouldn't like be wrong. It wouldn't be anything, weird. By the way, Yastremska just double faults, so the serving that bailed
Yeah,
her out
two,
on the
two
previous
double
free.
faults actually, because
Oh
she
yeah,
hit the double fault when she had the game point, and to go up 3 love, and also
so
double
two
fault.
out of three, 2 out of 3 points, right? Were double faults. 2 out of the last
Yeah,
3 points. And yeah, just to finish up what I was trying to say there, Qinwen Zheng basically has a lot to gain, as you said, in the first half of the season, because the major point gains for her more or less start with Palermo, but probably more so even with the US Open, where she has Zhengzhou, where she has the WTA Elite Trophy. So there's going to be a lot of chances for Zheng this year to make it to, yeah, let's say around 6 in the rankings, 6, 7, maybe make the WTA finals. Even if she loses this match, because yeah, then she'll have a lot to gain later on. Of course,
yeah. I
winning
think that
this
this
match
is a
or losing
goal.
this match.
This
Yeah.
is a goal for
Yeah.
sure, because the way
Yeah.
she ended the 2023, where she ended it as number 15. But she was actually one match away from breaking the top 10,
Yes.
because winning against against Tadat Maya in the final of the Elite Trophy would have made her a top 10 even last year. So I think that the next step is, of course, trying to get that spot to the to the WTA finals, and establish herself as a top player, even more than how she's doing. She did, in the end of last year.
Yeah. And definitely she's got a good start either way. But these points would really help if she managed to
For
get it
sure.
done here. As this is literally a match for 520 points, right? I think, which is so rare on the tour. I mean, you
Yeah,
can
and
only really
also
play a match for that in
from
the
this
Grand
year
Series.
onwards,
No. Uh-huh.
there
I
will
know what
be,
you mean. Yeah.
yeah, there will be the same rule as the ATP for the Slam champion. I still believe that, basically, if you win a Slam and play more or less a normal schedule, you should be able to make the top 8, anyway. But still, if some
It's not always the
injury
case on the
comes.
WTA. It's not always the case on the WTA, where
No, no,
usually
no, not always. Yeah.
you need to have more points in order to be in the top 8. I'm not exactly sure why that is. Like maybe not maybe in the top 8, but you need to have like a um, let's say, in order if you win a slam, you're not necessarily that high
Yeah,
up
yeah. But
usually. Like
just
Raducanu, for
imagine,
example,
just
Sloane
imagine that,
Stevens, right? Yeah.
last year 4 players gained that 2K points in some part of the season, because we had 4 different champions for the 4 Grand Slams, and this already,
Yeah.
and even the finalists were different, because only Sabalenka reached to finals, and then there was Jabeur, and there was Mukova, so Rybakina. So yeah. Mm.
Yeah, last year it was actually when all 7 Grand Slam finalists made the WTA finals. Of course, Mukova eventually withdrawing, but yeah, all 7 made it. So it was a very competitive, sort of high-profile field. But
Yeah, which
yeah,
unfortunately, all what happened made the WTA final, let's say, not a really unforgettable tournament for the tennis. Unforgettable for other reasons also, but
I mean, there was a Świątek Sabalenka match for like almost number 1. Of course, Świątek still needed to
no,
win
no,
the
that's right.
final.
But in the end, especially the round robin stage, was,
Sabalenka Rybakina for who gets to exit the groups.
yeah,
Who gets to
that
make
was
it out of the groups. I think it's a little underrated, let's say. But yeah, of course there was a lot of mess as well, and probably the promotion of that event could be better, even if it improved over Fort Worth. But that honestly just wasn't a very high standard that they had to
no,
live
yeah,
up
yeah,
to.
yeah,
But yeah, this rule that Mario mentioned for Qinwen Zheng or for Sabalenka, it probably wouldn't come up unless they get
yeah,
injured. Whereas for Yastremska, it could be a possibility. She wins
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
Australian Open, she doesn't make it into the top 8. That's not a scenario that is like entirely impossible.
yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah,
And it is
she could
very
actually do
important, and actually getting to the WTA finals is very important also from the ranking, because it's not like the ATP finals. Just to
it.
be
Yeah,
there, you gain 375 points.
it's an
um
awful rule. I don't understand it whatsoever.
yeah,
You just help these players sort of stick around even more, because for the whole duration of next year they're
Yeah,
going to have
exactly.
better seedings basically. So I don't understand that whatsoever. I think the the ATP system is so much better,
Yeah, I agree.
but well,
It's just a bonus that you are there and you can gain points there where other players can't, you know.
yeah.
uh,
And it's already enough of a bonus money wise and points wise that you are there and you like have a shot at winning these points.
yes, exactly,
So
I
you
agree.
don't need the additional round robin thing. But well, it is what it is.
Well, a very bad backhand would have been out even in doubles, but Yastremska still has to gain points.
Yeah, thankfully Yastremska not playing doubles here anymore, as yeah, that wouldn't make it even there. Of course, today there was a lot of doubles action as well.
Yeah,
Suecia may be about to win another slam doubles title, and she actually could complete her career Grand Slam in
yeah.
doubles,
She's
as
also
the
in the
Australian Open
final of
is
the
the only one.
mixed.
Yeah. Yes, and that would be her first mixed
Yeah,
title, which is quite interesting too. And yeah, the Australian Open is the only slam she hasn't won yet, missing out in one final. I think it's actually the only slam doubles final that she lost. It's also funny because the first match of the season, Sia Mertens lost to Minen and Watson pretty
yeah,
easily, and then they actually beat Minen and Vic Meyer in the first round here, and now are outplaying everyone. But yeah, I mean, Sue was insane today, and perhaps the couple of boring results, if you may, in the men's doubles semis today, but they both went to a deciding tiebreak. So
mm,
even though it's the more usual doubles pairings making it through. And there's a big story there as well with Rohan Bopana, of course, already
yeah,
clinching number one. He's going to be the oldest number one, beating Mike Bryan by 2 years. That includes women as well, as I think Lisa Raymond holds the record at 39 years of age. But also, he can be the oldest Grand Slam champion in doubles, which he was also able to secure it. He also had the chance to secure it at the U.S. Open, losing with Matthew Ebden to who? Ram Salisbury, right? Ram Salisbury.
yes, yes,
And
yes. I think it
yeah,
was their third straight US Open title, if I'm not wrong.
they're what?
Ram Salisbury. I think it was the third straight US Open title
Ah, yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
them.
Okay, yeah, sure. I definitely two of them, maybe even three, as you say. Yeah, and Bopano actually doesn't have a Grand Slam doubles title yet, which is pretty wild because he's getting
Yeah,
to number one anyway, and he's 43, and he's always felt like a very competitive
yeah,
doubles player at the
exactly.
top, basically since I started following tennis. So, but yeah, he's only had two finals: 2010 with Aysam Ulhak Qureshi, and then 2023 with Matthew Ebden, both at the US Open. Now he also makes it at the Australian Open. And I think we have to credit Denis Shapovalov, right?
Yeah,
Because he definitely like let Bopana just climb out of his doubles hole. Shapovalov was so kind to play all these doubles with Bopana over
yeah,
the
you're
years,
right.
and he allowed him to tune in his doubles game. I'm sure that was the reason. Bopana was like begging Shapovalov to play doubles with him.
What do you think of Zheng's forehand overall as a shot?
It has quite a lot of margin on it while still being like a very
Because
dynamic,
it's not the usual,
like, well, the take back is a little weird, I guess. But yeah, it might not hold up too well against pressure, against the pace in general. But if she has time on it, I like how she's been able to
yeah, yeah,
start playing with it, like a little bit more margin as well. There was this pretty insane forehand winner yesterday against Kalinskaya,
yeah. I mean,
where
with
she
Zheng
just really
usually,
makes it look so safe with
yeah,
yeah, a ton
exactly.
of heaviness as well. And yeah, when she has time on it, it's absolutely fine. Probably there still could be some improvement defensively.
Yeah, yeah, very, very good to watch her because
Yeah.
she's a very good hitter, but at the same time, you feel like her game is kind of safe when she's able
Yeah.
um, to play it in the way she wants.
Yeah,
So
it's the Świątek-ish thing, really. Like when
yeah,
Świątek feels comfortable as
exactly.
well, you just sort of feel like nothing can go wrong. Or when she's not rushing her shots, like of course she was for the most part at the Australian Open, but yeah, like that, there's just not much that can really go wrong. But when someone like Yastremska is, just firing all of these
Yeah,
shots, we'll see how Zheng handles it. But here, I mean, that's a sensational backhand down the line, really, to
very good.
come up with this from the Yastremska, yeah. Big backhand blow cross to
Yeah, yeah,
redirect it
very,
like
very good.
this. And yeah, that's pretty insane. Of course, Dayana wasn't expecting to be on the back foot after this backhand of hers.
And 30 all with a good first serve. So at least for now, Zhang recovered in this game. Another big one.
And this is also played with the roof on, right?
I think so.
Yeah. It's not like raining in Melbourne. It was earlier today, but it's not like raining. But they are afraid that it's gonna start again, and basically they just chose to um, close the roof preemptively. I think on both occasions in both semifinals, which is always a bit of a controversial topic, I suppose. But well, it's
Yeah,
better than making the players and the crowd and the audiences
exactly.
around the world wait for 20 minutes if something starts, and also having to dry the court maybe if it began like with a pretty heavy rainfall. So whatever. Here, any major advantage? Maybe Yastremska a little bit, but not as much
Yeah,
as I think in the Sabalenka Goff matchup where
exactly.
Sabalenka liked the conditions for sure even
Um,
more.
as per the question, well, I think that more or less she has an all rounder. At least on both the hard courts and the clay, she can play very. She has already played well
I
on.
think the all rounder Sean also means like whether she is good, both on tag, defense, like can she pull off
Because
all
or a
the
power
skills
player. Yeah,
consistently?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Rather than surfaces,
Mm,
yeah.
well, as for considered, I think that it's still considered kind of a power player
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah, like a dynamic, aggressive ball striker. Probably not
yeah,
that
yeah.
good on the defense, but she's not,
She's
Arena
not the
Sabalenka
biggest
level.
basher on the tour, but
No,
I think that
definitely not. No.
she is still considered a power player, even because
Yeah.
she has a big serve. And then if she, for example, if she serves well, most of the time she will be mhm, in attack, starting the point on her service games. So I feel, yeah, she's considered a power player.
She definitely likes to be on the front foot, but is she horrible on the defense? Is she like, is her movement poor? No. The way the backhand that she just hit, the backhand pass on the slide, I think was a good example of that as well. She's definitely able to recover from some positions.
And
Who's like
she
who's
does a
like a
very good
player
job.
who's completely unable to defend? I don't know.
Who?
Um, I'm thinking of an example of a player who's like completely unable to defend to sort of set her up against Zheng, but I don't know. Well, like Sabalenka, I guess she's not really going to defend too much, right?
Yeah,
Like that
even if
that's that, that's
she's
not
still
that sort of place though. It's not that sort
she's
of place though.
still
Or like Yastremska. Yeah.
a very good mover, considering her how she is
Yes,
physically. um
yes, she's making the most out of what she can, sort of with her build, with her style. Yeah, that similarly to Rybakina, like they make it work. They're like efficient with
yeah,
how
yeah,
they
but
move.
in my opinion, the defensive game is still better from Sabalenka
Oh
than
yeah, it
Rybakina.
is. It is for sure. It is for sure. Yeah. But Rybakina is definitely more clumsy, but she still
Yeah,
like
yeah,
makes it work sort of efficiently. But Qinwen doesn't have these issues. Like she could actually pull it off, um, without much trouble. Even if she prefers to be on the front foot, prefers to just be the first one to attack and yeah, stay on top of the point the entire time. But I would say, yeah, all rounder would be maybe a bit of
Maybe
a stretch.
Noskova, for
It's more
example.
so
We
in
saw
the
the
power
Yastremska
play.
Noskova match.
Uh-huh.
Noskova can definitely, has definitely something to improve in this. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
Sure.
her defense game and movement in terms of um,
Yeah.
still has quite a lot to do.
That was kind of the assumption for many going into the Świątek match as well, for Noshkova, that this could be a problem, but eventually it wasn't really.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit it was, when it's that, the match hasn't been decided on that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Mm.
One more
Mm.
break point still for. I think she already. Well, Yastremska did already save a love 40, but then she ended up losing the game anyway, right? At
Yeah, yes,
two games
exactly.
to love. Yeah, so it's been a
Here.
bit messy like that, I guess. Pereriba a little less sort of
Yeah,
maybe
I mean, here
showing a
I
little
didn't
less
really like the
emotion
choice,
today than yesterday.
Mm, there was not much room to make this choice,
Yeah, to
efficient
go for
or
that back
planned.
and down the line. Yeah, yeah. The ball was too deep, too hard to really fire something like this consistently. But well, last time she
And
lost the
here,
love
yeah,
40,
she
she
finds
managed
a
to win the
very,
game anyway.
very good angle with the forehand, and so she forced Yastremska's mistake.
Yeah, and that difference in the movement out of the corners, I think, is very well
Yeah,
exemplified by this game. The how Zheng is able to still produce a couple of really good shots, maybe not necessarily fully defensively, but just produce that sort of angle when she's a bit behind, not like in her usual comfortable position. And Yastremska, whenever she's stretched to that forehand corner, yeah, I guess again the Sabalenka comparison for Yastremska works pretty well. Like that, they really play very similar tennis and have similar strengths and weaknesses. Of course, Arina just doing it 10 times
yeah, yeah.
better, 10 times more consistently, but it doesn't necessarily mean that she's gonna beat her in the final, because I think sometimes when two players have a very similar play style, it's just kind of like, oh, and that's another poor backhand miss for Yastremska. But sometimes when two players have a very similar style, I think these matches tend to be very lopsided, because the one that does it just a tiny bit
Mhm.
better is going to have the edge always. But not necessarily, I think, in a match like Yastremska Sabalenka, I don't think that's gonna be there. But did she just ask for a trainer, or yeah, she
Yeah,
did.
she looks quite,
She was also grabbing that like abdominal area earlier, just like 2 games maybe before, around her
yes,
hip. We'll see what that is, but
yeah, definitely. We're going to have a medical timeout because she's.
yes. So for now, maybe they'll try to do it on the changeover, I guess, but probably it won't be enough. Yeah, seems like we're in for the long haul. Dayana is not a great mover. Yeah, exactly. Should keep track of how many times Yastremska calls for a trainer the rest of the season. Yeah, I think people were pointing this out at various points, that she basically has these medical timeouts that are maybe more so to break up the momentum. Tactical medical timeouts. That was a big thing about her in the past. I guess she's also doing it a lot of the time, but not today. It seems. I mean, she did have
Yeah,
a
yeah.
few points
She
where,
was.
yeah.
This was before the end of the game, so these images we are watching now.
Yes. So I don't think that's it, but definitely in the past we've seen these sort
Yeah,
of
and she's going
tactical
off the court.
timeouts. Oh, and she's going off the court as well. Okay. Of course, would be quite brutal for her to not be able to compete at
Yeah,
her highest
exactly.
possible standard here in the biggest match of her career. Then again, I mean, she's had to play 8 matches to get here. Some of them very
Yeah,
physical, so it's also a really taxing effort, a really taxing event for her. So we'll see. She's trying to pull off the Emma Raducanu here, although of course it would be a very different story since
yeah.
Yastremska was previously in the top 25, and a much definitely a more established player than Raducanu, once considered like one of the most talented prospects, I guess, in the world. While Raducanu was like just on the verge of really getting into the sort of maybe common perception of tennis fans. And
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, Raducanu was known by most of the general public at Wimbledon, but
yeah, good run there. Yeah.
regardless of Wimbledon, she was not established at all.
Yeah.
She had I think I'm right when I say that she had no official wins on the main tour, the WTA 250 and higher.
I don't know if she
It,
even played them, like
yeah,
really, other than
exactly.
Wimbledon. You know,
So the story is totally different.
did she have her main tour debut before Wimbledon? I don't even know. Maybe in one of the grass events, I guess.
Yeah, probably yes.
I don't remember that, but so probably she didn't do that well. But yeah, maybe in one of the grass events only. 2021, right? Let me see that. 2021 was her first year with playing some WTA Tour matches. And actually, it was, San Jose and Nottingham. She got wildcards both times, losing to Dart and to Shuaizhang. So, other than Wimbledon, yeah, she was just 0-2. So, it wasn't a big sample. But yeah, it's definitely a very different story if Yastremska wins
Yeah,
the
for
title
sure.
here. Although, still, it would be historic. It would be a historic achievement since basically Raducanu was the first. So, still to get there as the second player to do it.
To tennis in the last 2 seasons, and we wish him all the best.
I
And
can
I
hear
hope
some
very
woman talking.
flag.
Yeah, it's an Italian skier.
Okay.
they I'm watching on Discovery, and they were interviewing this Italian skier Sofia Goggia,
Oh man.
who was
Okay.
talking
Why
about
was she talking about tennis?
tomorrow's match. She also
Ah,
has
Sinner.
any kind of important appointment tomorrow for
I guess
so,
Sinner has a skiing background, so
she was still talking in
maybe it
she,
makes
she
sense.
was still talking in English because she did this for not for the Italian,
Uh-huh.
but for just Discovery in general.
No, makes sense. I obviously didn't recognize her voice, but I do know the skier. I mean, it
Yeah,
doesn't make sense, but it's like barely justifiable, but okay. I recently saw this video where they were asking ski jumpers from other countries to name
yeah,
Polish athletes who aren't ski jumpers. And of course, Lewandowski was basically the main answer. But after that, it was more or less Świątek and Hurkacz, actually. And a surprising amount of people knew Hurkacz.
yeah. Here, honestly, Italian sports people from other sports are just forced to answer to a question about tennis, more or less every interview. So I'm pretty used to it.
Wait, what? I
Yeah,
don't understand.
talking that all the famous swimmers, or
Uh-huh.
high jumpers, skiers, each of them are basically talked about Sinner once, more or less at every
Mm-hmm.
interview they have in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I'm pretty used to listen to that.
Right, so 7 minutes since the last point, Dayana Yastremska is back on the
Yeah,
court.
let's see.
Let's
Let's
see
see
how
this
she's going to
point.
be
These
holding
first
up.
points.
Still grabbing her abdominal area once when she was getting to the court, but now she's sort of just practice running some backhands and looked okay while doing it. Let's see.
Yeah, double fault.
Well, Qinwen decides not to show us whether Yastremska is fine physically or not. She's just gonna double fault 4 times here to give Dayana a bit of a helping hand. Qinwen just wants a good match, and she's gonna help us.
And a good serve. So
Yeah, maybe it's just gonna be serves and double faults from now on, but at least then on the Yastremska serve, we're gonna see some action.
yeah, that's for sure.
I wonder, like, about the viewing figures of these two semifinals. Gov Sabalenka. How many people watch that, and how many people will
Mm,
watch Zheng Yastremska? But honestly, if you're not enjoying this top half of the draw on the women's side, that's a you problem, not a problem with the quality or with the
yeah,
names
yeah.
involved. Yeah, Yastremska going for a big return now. The serve was like on the line, really. She misses it again outside the doubles alley. So still haven't really gotten a glimpse of her movement, because it seemed on one of the previous points that it really triggered when Yastremska was forced to move to her forehand corner in that one longer point where she was running towards it. So
Yeah, here just a backhand mistake. I don't know if this expression is because she is disappointed by herself.
yeah, or if she's grinning, yeah, who knows? Or she's like grimacing due to pain. Yeah. It's tough to say. It's probably not something that like is essentially making her unable to play so far, but we'll see if it comes up, if we have any longer exchange here. Well, double fault now.
Ayo,
Oh,
what's happening? No, nothing. My dog just goes mad at times. I don't know why. Now someone is stealing me all the things I have in in the other rooms of my house.
but you cannot leave because you have to be watching. Yastremska.
Yes, that's gonna say.
Please don't take my laptop. I'm just gonna. I'll just watch here. Take whatever you
Exactly.
want. Just don't take my laptop. I have to keep
Definitely.
watching. Don't take the router. Close the door
And
after you leave.
well, and a good return.
Yeah, still just a couple of very short rallies
Yeah.
based on one big strike from one person or another. Of course, the previous 2 points won by Yastremska in this game were double faults, so this is actually the first one that she wins since the medical timeout. But her ability to strike the ball hit hard and heavy has not been hampered.
A good one. A very good return from Yastremska. So she has a break point. Wow, this point. Oh my god. Zhang has
Yeah.
really saved herself 2 times really, really well. Especially the second time she played so deep, and Yastremska really was not ready for that.
Yeah, some luck, but as well that good coverage on that forehand cross, especially that she was able to get back. So
Well, the, this this reminded me of Zverev yesterday.
Hmm. Or Sabalenka from earlier today when her net
Yeah,
play was
also.
like
Yeah,
absolutely
you're right.
horrific.
Yeah, she was definitely very, very, far she could have been, even because Qinwen had not that. It was clear she was going to hit something like that, but of course it's easier to say than to do it. So 5-3, she had the chance to break back, and now Yastremska going to serve to stay in the first set.
Yeah, definitely a couple of points that she kind of blew there. She had the advantage on them and either missed something easy or, that
Yeah,
volley, which was never really close. Or there was also, that 1 point or two that Qinwen just sort of got back out of nowhere. And yeah, but there was a chance to break back. It wasn't an obvious game for the Chinese.
oh, Qinwen didn't find the ball here on this defensive shot. But yeah, Yastremska was very, very powerful with the forehand.
Yeah, but this is not looking good for Qinwen in terms of her final prospects. I think,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you can already see that she will be on the back foot all the time.
Yeah,
She is here. Like I don't know if Yastremska will be able to execute it, especially given her whatever the issue is. But yeah, I mean, this is literally the same dynamic that you're gonna get against Sabalenka, and
yeah,
it's not that Qinwen is horrific on the defense. I mean, she's clearly pretty okay, but like, yeah,
yeah. But she
Coco
cannot.
Gauff didn't get there.
Exactly.
Coco Gauff didn't manage to pull it off. So how does Qinwen Zheng? And yeah, still don't like the final matchup. I still don't like the one today really for Zheng, but she's up a break. We'll see if she's able to clinch the win. But at least Yastremska seems healthy enough to keep going for now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This was a good drop shot to hold. Yeah, it seems like at least in terms of the dynamic of this match, it's not going maybe to change that much. At least for what we have seen so far in this first two games since the medical timeout. And now a big moment is ahead of us. Zheng is going to serve for the first set. Yeah, that's a bad mistake. She goes to the bench to change something. Yeah, she just changes the
Yeah,
racket.
broke a string or something. Will there be a lot of pressure on Zheng from China? I mean, I thought that there might be, given all that big story here that Nali came to see her and etc. But so far she's been handling this very well. So even if there might be like a lot of attention there in the media, it seems like she's equipped to handle it. But we'll
Yeah,
see if she gets
yeah,
to the
there.
final. But yeah, so far she hasn't really shown much when it comes to nerves. Yeah, and again survives like a big blow from Yastremska with
Yeah.
somewhat accidental get, but it actually makes Dayana uncomfortable.
And an ace, that's the bad thing when you play against her. You have a small chance, then maybe you
Yeah,
don't take it, and the next point she just blast of a great first serve.
she doesn't hit them most of the time, but she hits them just most of the time by a tiny bit. But when she does, it's so tough to
Yeah,
handle,
exactly.
and you don't really have obviously any control over whether she does. Maybe when the set is over, I'm also going to talk about the schedule for today because I don't think we've seen. I don't think we've really had that yet as a topic on the stream, but today. But let's wait for the game to be over or for the changeover.
Yeah, you're talking about the men's semifinals.
I'm talking about everything, but we'll
Ah, okay, okay.
I'll talk about it when their set is over or
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
Because I don't think we mentioned it today, but of course the men's semifinals are the main.
No, I thought someone was asking this.
Oh no! I just realized I haven't talked about it yet.
And a set point in Qinwen's favor.
Yeah, I guess you're right, Sean, because it was the first. Oh no, sorry, it was Terry. Terry, yes, Terry. Sean's question was higher up. I think you're right, Terry, because it was actually the first game where Zheng was serving right after the ball change. So probably she just wanted to get one of a different string tension.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the first game when she was serving after the ball change, and yeah. Anyway, set point. Has to retoss. Of course, that's also one of the issues with her serve, that the toss can really be messed up a
Yeah.
bit.
6-4.
But yeah,
Thing is
it was out, I guess.
out
Yeah.
the way.
Again, when Yastremska has moved to that forehand corner, she doesn't really
Yeah.
produce anything out of it. Sabalenka, I guess, it's another example in which she will be a step up over Dayana.
Hmm.
There's some words exchanged again with the umpire and Yastremska. We'll see how that turns out to be. But yeah, speaking of that schedule that I was going to mention, of course, we have the day session semifinal between Djokovic and Sinner. That's 4:30 a.m. my time, so it has to be like 2:30 p.m. Australia time. And then, regardless of how long this match is, not before 7:30 p.m. Australia time, there's going to be Medvedev Zverev. Starting up actually at Laver Arena is the mixed doubles final. So Sierzeliński and Krawczyk Skopski. And yeah, of course, the other court is still playing as well. The other women's doubles semi has to be played between Kichenok, Ostapenko, and Dabrowski, Routlev. There's also a couple of junior girls singles that they haven't finished, actually, the quarterfinals today because of the rain. So they will also have to do it and then play the semifinals on the
Yeah.
next day as well. The junior boys singles semifinals, the junior doubles semifinals, basically all the junior matches tomorrow will have to be wrapped up in order for Saturday to be the final day. I think it's the same with a lot of the wheelchair stuff, although wheelchair, I think even doubles will be tomorrow, the finals. But yeah, I think then on the last day, right, it's like the men's singles final and probably women's doubles final,
Yeah,
something
usually
like that.
they do like this.
Yeah, that's how it goes usually. Just two matches on the last day. I had this one a couple of years ago. I think it was the 2022 Australian Open. Yeah, when I did this sort of experiment, I guess, when I just watched all the Australian Open finals. It was like 15 of them, I
Oh,
think. including the quads, the wheelchair finals, all
Yeah,
the juniors, all the doubles. And basically, I just wrote an article about it, and it was pretty fun. I actually reread that not so long ago.
yeah,
I wouldn't really wanna do it again because, well, I think it was like a one-time project thing, and also it actually took quite a lot of time. Like I basically had to be free for the last 4 days of
yeah,
the event.
exactly.
Well, whereas, for example, here, I think on Sunday I probably won't be able to watch at least some of the finals. But yeah, it was pretty fun to see, especially all the things that I usually don't watch, which was
Yeah,
wheelchair,
exactly.
which was quads. The Dida de Hrot, Shingo Kunieda,
Yeah, she
still
doesn't.
playing them.
She's not losing a match since like 2021.
Yeah. And that was definitely cool to see. That was also the year when Kuzuhara and Menshik played the boys singles final, so that was super fun. I think some of the players that we're seeing right now, like I don't know, Coleman Wong, Alex Mikkelsen, I think they were in the Adolfo Daniel Vallejo, they were in the final, I think,
Yeah.
of doubles in the juniors. So it was definitely a fun experience. I think on the women's, it was maybe Marcinko Kosturas. So they've been like a little, well, Marcinko especially has been like got to the top 200 so early, but then struggling to break through.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. Barty Collins, of course, was the women's singles, and on the
Remember.
men's, it was Djokovic. It was Nadal, Medvedev. But yeah, 6-4, Qinwen Zheng didn't have to go her way, really. Like it's been very competitive, but
Yeah, I mean, it's been a competitive set, and you know, let's say that uh, Zhang did a little bit better some things, but in the end, I've also seen, as you were saying before, um, how why Sabalenka is the big favorite
yeah.
on Saturday.
And to be honest, even without that sort of matchup edge that
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
saying
yeah.
she
Of
would
course,
be,
also.
but yeah, that even sort of strengthens her lead going into it. Also, the advantage of experience. I mean, we've said before that Sabalenka might struggle in these final stages, but she's going to be facing a player who is there for the first time, and who knows? I mean, that might actually get them sort of to even terms when it comes to the mental
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Why
aspect of
not?
the game. But yeah, I guess Yastremska probably taking a break now. Oh no, actually it was Qinwen who was
Yeah,
in the toilet or the locker room.
yeah. She also changed um, her outfit, even if it's the same, in terms of how it looks.
So how do you know then?
Because they were adjusting before they showed that she asked. They were adjusting the outfit, and also she has. Um, she brought herself the bag, so I guessed it.
Mhm. Okay, fair
Yeah,
enough. Yeah.
I was not in the locker room, so
Yeah, that's why I was surprised that you know that, because since the outfit is the same. But well, it sounds like the logic is probably right. Just
at
looking
this
at some
point
stats. Mhm.
you are if you have to guess it, you will go a straight sets, 3 set for Zhang, a comeback win. It's difficult right now.
I'm
Yeah,
not gonna be guessing. I'm not gonna be guessing
yeah,
because yeah,
exactly.
it's literally just guessing. I think that the set was competitive. There's no
Yes,
reason why
exactly.
Yastremska should
I feel the same.
sort of stop making it competitive. But at the same time, if you just tell me that right now Yastremska gets broken, for example, early on, of course it can result in a fairly comfortable straight set win for Qinwen as well. Just looking at some stats from the first set, Qinwen at 53% on first serve, which is basically around her average for the year,
Average.
and at 75% on first serves won, which is also around her average. Yastremska definitely could be getting a little bit more of them, 48% just, and that's also pretty important for her in the matchup for sure, as we saw what sort of damage that serve is doing when it's getting in. And yeah, otherwise nothing really special. Zheng 8 winners, 15 errors. Interestingly, Yastremska has a closer sort of let's say, breakdown, but she actually still lost it. A lot of breakpoints for both, 1 out of 6 for Yastremska, 2 out of 8 for Zheng,
Yeah.
and basically just 3 more points won by Qinwen. So that again tells you that the set was
Yeah, yeah,
really,
yeah.
really
Was very,
tight.
very, very competitive. So
Interestingly, it's Yastremska who won 3 of the 4 9+ shot rallies, which you wouldn't really be able to say, given that in most of them her movement eventually was a little exposed, it seems, but maybe it was in the sort of medium length ones. And again, the stroke summary section on the Australian Open website just isn't working. Thanks
yeah,
for
I mean,
nothing.
also we are talking about just 4, 9+
Yeah,
short
yeah, I
trends.
know.
But they also may have had some, some kind of strange dynamic, or it's it's definitely not the pattern of the match. Let's say like this.
John having some fun in the chat. Let them eat cake. And yeah, the first point, of course, another good example of Qinwen just spreading the chords pretty well, and Yastremska's movement eventually not being up to par. But I like that last forehand as well from Zheng, right? The one that she played like with so much spin and just so much margin on it. Instead of going maybe a little fancy, but at the same time, yeah, you just play the shot as safe as possible. Yastremska is not even running towards it.
On this one, probably the, the issue she has could have played a role.
Probably more so the fact that
Was
it was on
deep.
the
It
baseline,
was
like
deep, but
yeah, straight up on the baseline. I think that's probably a bigger deal. Like it was close to falling out. There was a similar shot from Kingdom maybe like 2 games
yeah,
ago when the ball had like the same trajectory. She actually overcooked it a little bit. This time she puts it on the baseline and yeah, it also jumped up fairly high.
that's a very good point. Closing with the forehand after the serve. And a good first serve this time. So a game point.
I'm looking if there are any Italians still in the event. I guess only Federico Cina with Rei Sakamoto in the boys doubles semis. They are the top seeds and still going. Sakamoto also in the semis in singles.
Yeah, you're talking about the junior, only the junior.
Yeah, I was looking about at like every single category to see if there are any other Italians than Sinner.
Yeah,
This time it's not like the teams where
the doubles
yesterday.
final, the men's double final.
Oh, Borelli Vavasori, yeah, it's just not on the schedule for tomorrow. That's why I missed
Okay,
it. But
okay,
yeah,
okay.
of course they won today. Yeah, I actually watched it. Yeah, Borelli getting back to an Australian Open final after 9
Yeah,
years.
9 years.
Vavasori definitely new ground for him. I even went against my own rules and watched the post-match interview just because there was nothing else going on after the match ended. so I could stay there and see that as well. And of course, polls also. There's still one more poll in the event. Jan Zieliński tomorrow playing the mixed doubles final. We still haven't won a single mixed doubles final ever in 5 attempts, starting from 1947 to 2018. Jadwiga Jędrzejowska, Marcin Matkowski twice, Alicja Rosolska, Klaudia Sygnacik, and now the 6th chance for Jan Zieliński, who I hope will be just carried to victory by Suecia because she's too good. She's literally too good.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's mixed, so anything can happen really. I haven't checked the odds. I have no clue who I would say is the favorite there. Really, it's like mixed is so unpredictable. And the odds are pretty much even. So I guess I'm not the only one struggling. But I would probably struggle on every single mixed doubles match in the draw since, well, yeah, how do you predict that? Interestingly, Zielinski went 0-4 in Grand Slam mixed doubles last year. So this is also a bit of a change for him.
Yeah.
But you just gotta play with Suecia, you know, that's the only
That's definitely
explanation.
helping. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta land her basically. You gotta, you know, just approach her and ask, hey, will you play doubles with me? And if you're like a top 20, top 30 doubles player, maybe she's gonna say yes.
Yeah.
But then again, she's never won, and I think she's never even made a final in mixed doubles before, so that's gonna be a problem for me tomorrow because I kinda wanna watch it, but it's at 2 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. It's difficult. Right here, very, very easy hold for Qinwen.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier, Jean, about Yastremska, these medical timeouts that she used to take at very weird moments and basically just using them more of a tactical thing. Here, not the case. I mean, here she had an actual problem that isn't like hampering her all that much, maybe because of the medical timeout, but definitely did show up a few times at the very beginning of at the very beginning, in like the middle of set one, let's say. Very beginning is probably not the most accurate.
Yeah, especially to get the game before the couple of games before, started, touching herself.
Never mind. I'm 16 at heart.
And love 30 here, even if probably it's already 40, since we have the updated scoreline. And yeah, love 40 with a good.
So I guess it's the third time already in this match that Yastremska goes love 40 down on serve, and I think both times he got to deuce before. So
yeah, and actually she was broken both times.
I think she was broken both times. Yeah, I think she got it back to deuce both times,
exactly.
and then got broken both times because it was the 2-love break and then the decisive one in the
the 2 breaks she suffered so far in the match.
Yeah, she went down love 40, so it was obvious she got broken, right? But she actually got it back to deuce both times before getting broken. In one of these games, of course, giving these 2 double faults on 3 points. But yeah, it's a big ask again to get out of that hole. And yeah, with Qinwen, you never really know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's going to be fairly easy to break her, and sometimes it's going to be extremely tough. Ooh, that was in, really? I'm not surprised that Yastremska is questioning it a little because it must have been like a very narrow margin.
Clock's call.
They're going to show it? Okay. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now I will take my toilet break, but I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about a lot of break points in this match so far, even if only one is a, let's say, wasted chance for Yastremska because she was 4-3 down and she had one break point to get to 4-all. All the other break points she had basically came in a single game when she broke in the end, so they don't really count as missed opportunities. In the end, Zheng is up a set and a break, and right now seems difficult to imagine Yastremska coming back, at least for me. Just for a way Qinwen is returning, serving. She's also started this second set even better than how she played overall in the first one. So we are close at this point to a final between Sabalenka and Zheng, if she holds up.
My timing is perfect to watch the first
Yeah.
point of the fourth game. I had this crazy idea recently because from my window I can see the lights on the street, like the whether it's green or red, and this is the a sort of zebra crossing that I have to go through in order to get to the shop to do groceries.
Uh-huh.
And I was thinking that I can sort of start timing it in order for me to know when I have to leave, like precisely to a second, in order to get off my seventh floor,
Yeah.
to the ground floor, and then go to the street, and then sort of know that I'm gonna make it for the green light.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think that's a little much. Like I think,
It should take a bit of work. Let's say that.
yeah, I don't know if it's quite worth it, but
Yeah, I don't think so.
I might
Probably,
think
I
of
don't
it.
know.
I might think of it in the future. It would be a very funny way of sort of making this automatic and just
Yeah.
making sure that I'm not gonna wait there and that it is optimized by like 10 or 15 seconds.
Yes, exactly.
This is probably the moment when you should like actually consider working, or like you realize that probably you should stop, like probably you should just start focusing on some real stuff rather than think about crap like this. But yeah, that's a thought I had
Yeah, it
recently.
helps during your daily life. It happens. You start
Yeah.
thinking about some kind of things, and you kind of challenge yourself, even if it's not an important thing. But
Oh, Yastremska has a song. I don't even know that. I guess it's not as famous as the Sonego one, or Drip by Korenta Muta and Denis Shapovalov, or the one that Radwanska, Wozniacki, and Kerber did together.
yeah, 2 break points here for Yastremska. The miss return 30-40. Yeah, Zheng had to play twice the second serve on those breakpoints, but still, it was not enough for Yastremska, especially
Mhm.
this return.
Yeah, so both of them were missed, right? Both
Yes,
second serves and both missed returns. Yeah, that's not something she can afford to be doing right now. Definitely,
no,
especially as you never know, and soon enough, Qinwen might find a first serve, and then you're already in a bit of trouble, and you're only
she
winning
doesn't
like
here.
25% of the points. Again, she doesn't. Yeah.
And this return is in,
And she
and
wins the
it's
fight.
winner.
Oh wow, that's such an angle as well. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, a little too close for comfort usually, I guess. But yeah, I guess with the serve set, the second serve sitting up, you kind of have good control over it anyway. And yeah, Kokogov wouldn't get that either.
and another breakpoint saved. The 8 out of 9 conceded.
Yeah, this time Qinwen did find the first serve. It wasn't like unreturnable, but Yastremska was really trying to go after it as well down the middle. But yeah, it seems like the Qinwen first serve percentage has dipped considerably in this game, which would make it an even stronger opportunity for Yastremska to grab a break. But
Yeah, another big return. Basically, Yastremska's return is deciding this game so far.
yeah, either she wins the point or she makes an error. And this is what Sabalenka will be doing as well to the Qinwen second serve. So I
Yeah,
think really the if Zheng makes the final from here, definitely one of the keys to the match will be to have that first serve percentage higher
yeah,
than her usual 52-week. I don't know if she quite has like the ability to do that on purpose. Like if she has the ability to take a few kilometers an hour off in order to have a higher percentage. I think she's just all about that one big blast with a
yeah.
tricky angle as well.
Here, another deep
And
return,
it's the break, yeah.
and there is a break.
Literally decided by the Yastremska return all
Yeah,
game,
yeah,
every single point. Zero rallies. It's just really Yastremska either crushing the return and or making it deep enough for Zheng to be in trouble, or just missing it. But yeah, she gets it, and she's definitely not, hampered by that issue that she had medical timeout for
no,
earlier, or at least not to the extent that would sort of disallow her to play. Maybe it only really comes up on these wide forehand chases because that's where it seemed to
yeah,
be
probably yes.
sort of triggered earlier. And once she's just standing and hitting these returns, it doesn't really influence her play that much.
Well, she loses the first point. If she gets broken here, she would be broken for the fourth time out of 8 service games. So
Hmm. Yeah, and I guess part of that, we talk about the Zheng first serve percent at first serve percentage a ton, but Yastremska has been really low as well. So
yeah, for
that's over the
example,
course of the
you're
match.
they are showing that, yeah, okay, the 9+ shots, but if the shot is between 5 and 9 shots, then Qinwen wins. Basically,
Yeah,
the doubles, the double the points Yastremska does.
yeah, for sure. Qinwen is also down to below 50% when it comes to first serves in. So yeah, even below her usual 52-week average. So yeah, against Sabalenka, if she plays her in the final, that kind of won't cut it. Given what Yastremska just did to her in the previous game, especially.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a match in which she can, she should be asked a higher percentage. That's for sure. And 30 all. This can be a very important game for Yastremska. Oh, that's that's a very good forehand.
Yeah, just really goes for it despite being a bit out of position. Again, wrong
Yeah,
footing
yeah, yeah.
Zheng and getting that 40-30 point.
Ah, this camera.
Oh, yeah, it's there again. Yeah. How much have we learned from this? Not much, but I guess. I also have issues with that green placement. Like it sort of seems to suggest that when you play a shot on the line, it's good. But like if you don't, it's not the correct placement, if you may, which
Yes,
is
exactly.
isn't exactly true. Like Novak Djokovic would take offense, for example, with this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, of course, it would be fantastic to keep hitting all the lines and painting them, but
yeah, it's not what definitely defines, a match result. If you,
Yeah, it can, but
it can if you are in God mode, but it doesn't happen that
exactly, yeah.
often. Mm. This return goes out, so Yastremska has another chance.
That sounds like a long exchange from your from your sound.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is.
Uh, that's long. I mean,
I
for
mean,
this match, for how it's
yeah,
been going the
exactly.
last two games, yes.
Long for this match. Yeah.
But I was expecting it to be longer, actually.
No, 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 no.
Yastremska actually, yeah, makes the error a bit early. I guess that will still put it in the 5-8 category, so further
Yeah.
strengthening Qinwen's lead in that group. But it's another patchy up and down game that you never really know who's taking it. Which, yeah, this match has been all about that so far, really.
Mm.
Yastremska it might be 4-6, 2-0 down, but it's not like there's really been like a better or worse player here. That they've really been so competitive, and
Yeah.
just a question of taking a few chances or not. And now it's Qinwen trying to go for broke on that forehand down the line, misses it a bit by wide, and one more game point for Yastremska, who could really lose like a big serve right now. I don't think she's won a 3-point in a while.
But there's a second serve.
So likely won't be 2-3.
Yeah, she does it well. She moves Qinwen really well, and she takes this point.
Yeah, briefly a set and a breakdown. Yastremska was at 4-6, 1-2, but of course this match is kinda like, even though they haven't been breaking each other a lot, there's a lot of action constantly on return. Both are really
Yes,
attacking each
exactly.
other's second serves. So yeah, it didn't feel like the match was about to end. Definitely not. Especially as Yastremska is now holding up fine physically for sure. So it's still very, very, very open. There's some snippets from Coco Gauff's press conference, but I'm watching with no sound, so maybe Mario will tell us what Coco is talking about to the press.
That wasn't the fault either because I put myself in the position, like I cleaned up the first set, put myself in the position to serve out the set at the end of the day.
Yeah, talking about their performance.
In the second, maybe if I get the whole 4-0 to
Huh, that's weird. I was expecting her to talk
Yes,
about
exactly.
Sofia Goggia.
No, I mean, talking that,
I saw that yesterday, John. Yeah, that was okay. That was pretty funny.
she's, of course, quite
You
disappointing
got a lot
because
of likes on you got a lot of likes on Twitter, I think. So, well, a lot for like the usual jokes you make. Like, there were like 10 likes on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're showing us the time on court, but I also feel like this stat is being a little bit overrated in this Australian Open. Not that it doesn't mean
They're
anything,
showing
but
it to us a lot for sure. But do you
yeah,
think this includes Yastremska's qualifying matches though?
yeah,
It must be, right?
yes, for sure.
I think it
Bec-
it must be, yeah.
yeah, definitely. Because before the match, she was 13 hour and included qualis.
Yeah.
So
So I
mm,
guess that also again tells you that it's a little misleading because well the qualifying finished on Friday before the start of the main draw. So I don't know if you
yes,
can
exactly.
really compare that, you know. Of course it's more action over 3 weeks, but it's over 3 weeks, not over two. But yeah,
Yeah, it's
we're
more or
seeing this
less
time on
like
court stuff a
she
lot.
had played in Adelaide, you know. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, literally, yeah. I don't know if Qinwen played after the United Cup. I don't think so, right? But yeah, there's been players who were actually in Adelaide or the other event, and they are still holding up okay. So um, yeah,
yeah, very big hold here because after that, you know, the previous game.
and
Um,
quick one as well.
yeah, exactly.
It's been a while since one of the players got something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there have been the moment at the beginning of the set, Yastremska held, and then after that, we've seen, you know, two straight, let's say, easy games for Zheng, one hold and one break. But then in the end, we've been back in, you know, battling for basically every game, and that's big because, you know, Yastremska is again under pressure after just, you know, couple of minutes. Double fault, and she takes another racket.
Just seeing a tweet from David Law who says that that was so good about Sabalenka Gov. If only the latter stages of women's Grand Slams were best of five, who wouldn't want to see more of that? I wonder if there's a Ben Rodenberg comment somewhere. I don't know. It would
Ben
feel
is
weird to me if it
Ben
was
is
only
best of
the
three for
latter rounds.
everyone, you know. I think
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
he is.
Yeah. Ben is best of three. Yeah, Ben is in the best of three camp, and when there's a match like Mare Kokinakis, he is in trouble. Then everyone tags him, and everyone is like, "How? Why do you want to take this away?" And I do think that this would be an incredibly weird decision if we suddenly stop
Yeah,
the best of five play. Just makes it all so much more special and gives us all of these 5 set classics on the outside courts as well that usually wouldn't be considered classics.
well, love 40. So quite a few straight points. One from Qinwen. She always broke when love 40.
Yeah, twice still making it to deuce, but she did manage eventually, and of course one was simpler. I think it was at 15 that Yastremska got broken.
Well, could be probably the longest rally,
Could be, yeah.
and Qinwen takes it.
This time she breaks the love for the first time when she found herself in that position. So
Yeah,
once again a set and a break, but this time it means a bit more, given that she's just 2 games away.
yes, exactly. If she manages to hold in the next game, then she is really really close.
No, Jean, actually there was an issue with her like abdominal right side, I guess. I don't know if it was hip or something. You could see it very clearly impacting her on one of the rallies where she had to chase down the forehand and like tried to counter it. when she was stretched, but then she had that medical timeout, and also there hasn't really been any points where it would come up again. But no, this time we have to just based on previous occurrences of Yastremska taking medical timeouts for no reason.
Yeah, but
I
it's
don't
not,
think you can just
you know,
assume that every
it's not
single one is.
that kind of issue you use when when you take a tactical medical timeout. They went off the court. I don't know. That's
Yeah. Also, the situation wasn't like it, right? It was 3-4.
yes,
Like I
exactly.
know the timeouts you mentioned, Jean. Like yeah, the one against Tomljanovic is the prime example, obviously. And there's been cases like this for sure for Yastremska, but like there was no point to do it at 3-4 down in the first set. That wasn't the sort of scenario where you would use a medical timeout tactically. Now it's Sabalenka talking, but we already have
Yeah,
players
but
talking.
I I'm listening. I was listening to you than to her. So
Yeah, no, it's tough. I'm way more interesting, so
she was. I can for sure tell that she was asked about the difference between this match and the U.S. Open final.
Huh,
But
it's a fair
but in the end,
question.
I mean, yeah, for sure she's
The-
answered with quite a long answers. But in the end, I would say that more or less is basically also about the level.
about the
You know.
level?
No, I mean when giving my perspective, when you play
Mhm.
that kind of match in the US Open final, it explains by himself why you lost it.
I think honestly it was very similar. Both matches, like in terms of the dynamics, were super similar. It's just that here, I guess Sabalenka bounced back from that moment when she starts feeling a bit
Yeah,
more pressure on
exactly. But
herself, and also the conditions here were more suitable for her style. But there she didn't. Like there she actually just sort of straight up descended into frustration, anger, and more of these poor execution on the smashes, the put away shots, and of course Goff's incredible running. Whereas here, she played that stunner of a tiebreak, 7-7-2. Like that was a real, I think, turning
yes,
point and a
exactly.
key moment for her mentally, right? Because the 5-6 game, I actually wouldn't credit her that much for the break. It's also the worst game that Goff played, really, from off 30, probably the worst game, one of the worst games she played all match. So, but yeah, I think the both matches very similar actually. Um, Early lead for Sabalenka. This time, of course, not getting a set, but still getting to 5-2. Then Goff applies the pressure, and it's just a question of whether she manages to bounce back from a few setbacks that she kinda leads to them herself. But of course, also Coco with all these first serve returns that were coming back, and yeah, all the shots that she can track down. She also adds to that for sure.
Yeah, here we saw another fast game. And so yeah, Zheng is
Yeah,
now definitely close, only one game
I
away.
think a few first serves as well, probably. And that's always going to help. So, Yastremska serving to stay in the match, in the tournament, stay with that chance of getting to a Grand Slam final. That should be out from Qinwen, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Let me see where Yastremska will fall in the rankings after the Australian Open. If she loses here, she's going to be 29th, which is, of course, still not at her career high, but it gets her back
not
into the
pretty
slam
close.
seeding position. It gets her back into a lot of events that last year she wouldn't be able to play. Like, for example, last
Yes,
year
exactly.
I watched her win the title at the WTA 125 in Kozerki. It's fair to say that she's not going to be playing there again this year.
No, she will enter directly also to all the 1,000 events, also the smallest ones.
Yeah, basically over half of her points come from the Australian Open this year.
Mhm.
So that's the sort of help in the rankings that she has been able to get here. Like doubled her points. Whereas Qinwen, by the way, if she wins this match, she's going to be number 7 already,
Yeah.
just behind Ons Jabeur in that group of players that I mentioned earlier, who are like reliant on some big results themselves and can
Oh, that's a
possibly be
good
passed
smash.
by her in the future. Oh
Somebody's
wow! Oh wow! I was waiting for it. You said that's a good smash, and I was like, really? She's gonna set up for this baseline smash well and finish it off. And then I see that she's also like sort of trying to slice it, and I'm like, really? She's gonna finish it off? And I couldn't believe it. And
no.
then I saw that it was like 2 meters out.
No, even because it's a bit weird because usually, I mean,
Wow, what a forehand from Yastremska as well. So yeah, she will
good
force
that
Zheng to serve it
yeah,
out.
good that she held, because at least now Qinwen has to serve for it.
Yeah, 3-5 down. You just gotta allow them not to get this for free. This one Polish coach who used to work with Bencic and like who else? I think Koko Vandoe as well. He says that Jan Zieliński will be a doubles number 1 in the future. Yeah, I don't know if I buy it, but it seems like a bit of a Polish bias to me.
Goff told that she played better tonight, according to her, comparing to the U.S. Open. The U.S. Open was not a great match, even if she won it. She told this. Yeah, nothing. She was a better player. I have a lot. I found this on Twitter. That's why I have a lot to improve. She served better than in the U.S. Open.
That's a very sensible perspective, actually. I hope that some of her well, I don't know if fans, but like some of the people who on Twitter were like really basically 5th day of the event, they were like, this is Coco's title to lose, and like we're throwing around these ridiculous takes about her. I hope that they listen to what she said, because that's a very sensible take. I
Yeah.
actually think that might be true. Of course, she didn't win the match, but she was definitely responding to Sabalenka's pace a lot more, like she was taking initiative herself as well. Of
Yeah.
course, some early double faults, sure.
Yes, definitely.
The one game where the forehand broke down. But I think given the indoor conditions as well, and general the Australian Open, the fact that it was so close actually is a big testament to how well she played. Yeah.
Oh, this mistake. She had a shot.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she had the 30 love here. Yastremska on the Zheng serve, but she misses the put it. Well, maybe not a put away yet, but the short ball forehand. So that was definitely quite fortunate for Zheng, as she struggled to handle the Yastremska return flying at her at a ridiculous speed yet again.
Mistake with a backhand, and so 30-15.
And this is another point where she like after the return, she gets a shorter ball, she gets something that sits up for her. So it's basically been missing chances the past couple of points.
A winner on the return. She's going for everyone, for everything right now.
Yeah. And you can't do it to the Zheng second serve. So Sabalenka is definitely watching, and Sabalenka knows it already. Sabalenka like completely blasted her off the court at the US Open, and yeah, I think if Qinwen wins the final, it will be an absolutely massive achievement for her. Besides winning the Grand Slam title, to actually overcome Sabalenka playing like that, and also the matchup issues. But of course, she needs to get there first. She isn't there yet. Just 2 points away on serve. But we know that Yastremska is going to go after the return.
Yes, and she misses it this time, so match point.
Yeah. I was really, really close though. But yeah, we're just seeing that this is literally if Zheng doesn't make the first serve, she is basically just at the mercy of Yastremska, and so far she has been very merciful, Diana, in this game. One missed return plus the two sort of 1-2 punches that she didn't finish off. She had a couple of good returns, but
And a
she
good
doesn't finish it
serve.
off. So is it over?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Down to T. Yastremska barely touches it with her racket. So it's a 6-4 win for Qinwen Zheng, the 12th seed.
Yeah, definitely, amazing achievement for a Grand Slam final. She will be, well in the top 10 because number 7.
Yeah.
So with a real shot also to to gain even more points in the next tournaments, regardless of what is going to happen on Saturday, and for sure a clash between in the end all this, let's say, mess event, at least the top half, but in the end we've got a final clash between two of the top, let's say, 6-7 players of the moment, even more, not considering Jabber in a better moment than Qinwen.
Yeah, yes, number 7 in the world. It definitely feels realistic since Cincinnati, since the US Open. I mean, she's been on
Yeah,
an incredible run, only losing to Świątek twice, to Sabalenka once, to Rybakina, and also to Haddad Maia, of course, that WTA Elite Trophy final where she sort of probably the missed chance there, given that she it's a slightly lower quality player, plus a top 10 finish was on the cards, but of course it was nothing egregious to lose there. And
yeah,
here,
yeah, yeah.
so far this year, she's only lost to Świątek, where she was outplayed somewhat easily. Now she has to beat Sabalenka, which is basically the opportunity that she, it's going to be hard to take it, but she's never
Yeah.
really gotten a win like this so far against Sabalenka, Rybakina, Świątek. And if she does it here, it will be absolutely monumental. And of course, 10 years later, after 10 years after that
Yeah,
Nani
also,
success too.
was thinking the Australian Open keeps being, the best slam for this, for Chinese female tennis. Lina won also the French Open, but it was also in another Australian Open final beside of
Yeah.
of the one she won. So definitely, um, this has been her most consistent slam in terms of many big results, and this is also her first. Yeah, I mean, there were the quarterfinals at the US Open, but this feels like the real breakthrough, uh, Grand Slam moment for her, of course.
When it comes to the round reached, because the run probably is like similarly difficult both times, to the quarters there and to the final here. So like a true breakthrough moment would be the final, but of course getting that final here is already
Yes, exactly.
massive.
I feel like, as long as it's reaching the round 4, the quarterfinal, but even the semifinal, you look also at the draw, who she beat, but then in the end, when you are in the final of a Grand Slam, um, of course the draw is important, the players who you beat in the analysis, but still, there's not much to say. Um, that's a great
Wonder which
achievement.
John says, wonder which surface will be Qinwen's best. I mean, that's not really a thing, right? Like it has to be hard courts. Clay is just she's fine on it, but it's limiting her attacking game, to an extent. Of course, she has quite a lot of spin on that forehand, but in the long run, I would expect her to have more bigger runs on hard courts. And grass, she was the last time we saw her, she was absolutely moving like a cow on ice. Of course, that might change in the future. But yeah, the last couple of years, she was not moving well on grass at all. She hasn't yet
Yeah.
adjusted at all.
How
And
nice.
what now? And what now for Yastremska? Also, another question: will this be her peak Linette-esque, or will this be the first of many deep runs and slams? When it comes to Linette-esque, I don't think it will be like that. But deep runs at the slams, that's a little bit of a fantasy to me as well. It's probably
Yeah.
somewhere in the middle.
I mean, she's, if you tell me right now that she will make a second one, Grand Slam semifinal, I can believe it. But still, I'm not expecting her to be there, twice a year
Yeah,
or even once a year. I don't think so.
not that she can't, but it does feel like she's a bit of a low spec
Yes,
Sabalenka in a
exactly.
way. Definitely after watching this match as well.
Then I mean, if
Um,
for deep runs we also mean backing up with another second week, for example, I don't
yeah,
know,
like that's entirely
US
possible.
Open, that's
That's
possible. Yeah,
entirely possible, obviously. I think she also had a second week before at one of the slams, didn't
yeah,
she?
yeah. In
Uh,
that 2019, it was. I feel like.
oh yeah, yeah, because I was reading that earlier. But was that also the no? Was it the U.S. Open, Australia? Oh, or was it Wimbledon?
No,
Wimbledon
I think it
actually.
was Wimbledon in
Wimbledon
2019. It
actually, yeah.
was Wimbledon.
2019 Wimbledon, she already had a second week. Yeah, she's definitely capable of making more semis. That's a bit of a bigger question mark. But yeah, 2019 Wimbledon, she ended up beating Georgie, Kenin, Golubic, and lost to Shuai Zhang. So I guess not the strongest run either. Kenin being the 27th seed at the time, half a year before her Australian Open success. So yeah, that wasn't a run that was that strong, I guess. But yeah, this is more or less what this was about. Indeed, Nali,
Yeah,
Qinwen Zheng. It makes sense with their game profiles that they would sort of succeed at the same slam, that they would succeed at similar type of conditions. But as he said, of course, Nali also won the French, and that's quite a big achievement, needless to say. To get two on very different courts, we'll see if Qinwen Zheng can also pull it off. Yeah, the second Chinese woman, that will be a stat that is sort of thrown out
yes, for
everywhere.
sure.
But it's 10 years. It's not that big a deal. Like the
Yeah,
gap isn't that huge. But of course, it's fun that they got
yeah,
to
especially
meet each other here.
no, I mean for every country. Maybe if someone is used to USA numbers, even if right now it doesn't happen since a long time, or Russia maybe, uh, but
Yeah,
for
no American man has reached the Grand Slam final since
yes,
2009, I
exactly.
guess. Yeah, so it's not that obvious actually, but sure. Of course, it's fun that they were able to yeah, meet each other here and like spend time together. And who knows? I mean, so far she hasn't been letting that pressure get to her. In the final, I think she will play fine. Sabalenka will be throwing everything at her, so I guess she won't really have that much time to think. But yeah, after watching today, the Yastremska Zheng match, which I think will have a very similar dynamic to the final, I don't really buy Qinwen's chances to win unless
No, me
Arena
neither this
is
time.
really messes it up. But yeah, the final is still huge. It's a lot of points for, I guess, beating opponents with slightly lower ranking than you would expect usually at these stages. But still, it's not like Qinwen over the past 4 and 5 months hasn't been, showing that she deserves that. And as I said, basically only losing to elite players the last couple of months. The win over Sabalenka would be by far the biggest one of her career,
Oh
both in
yeah,
terms of the
that's for sure,
stage and
and not
also in
yeah.
terms of yeah, just beating the sort of opposition that she hasn't really been able to touch yet. She has a few top 10 wins, but it's like maybe more so, yeah, that 6-10 group, that Jaber Sakari type of
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
range than Sabalenka, Rybakina, Świątek, and etc. And Goff. Goff, I don't think she's played. Rybakina, she lost to very easily in Beijing. Sabalenka, she lost to easily at the US Open. And of course, against Świątek, she's like 0-5 down despite winning a few sets.
Yeah,
But yeah, anything else, Mario, left to
yeah,
say?
winning a few sets, but never really close to uh, you know to beat her. No, so yes, I think that we have still a very very good Grand Slam final. I feel like at least in terms of the names, two of the very best players in at the moment. So yeah, I'm still, as I said before the match, I'm still backing Sabalenka, in terms that I'm expecting her to win that one. But then of course, as we always say, we will watch because never has been written already yet. And yeah, great stuff also from Qinwen. Also being able to to do well in even in a favorable draw, at least not that difficult as maybe some other times at the Grand Slam it can be. It's still good because when you have these expectations on yourself and from the the world tennis environment to reach big result, it cannot be that easy. So for sure, even if she's going to lose, this will be a very, very good first time for her, and no reason to think that she she will stop here. So I feel like, of course, she will feel the pressure of being a first Grand Slam final, but she also shouldn't put herself too much of a pressure, in my opinion, considering both the opponent, the fact that Sabalenka, for sure there should be more pressure, in my opinion, on Sabalenka to win a second slam than on Qinwen to win a first one. That's my opinion.
Sure. And by the way, guys, 5,399 subscribers. I mean, there's just one missing out of that round number. Yeah, like whoever is watching right now and isn't subscribed, I mean, don't you want to see that 400? It would be like almost real time.
It does disturb yourself.
Yeah, I mean,
you see the number, it's like,
yeah. I want to see the zeros. We're not leaving the stream until someone subscribes.
No.
that could be very risky. Yeah. In fact, someone listening to this might be vile and just unsubscribe as well, and that would
exactly
be a nasty thing to do, and you would not go to heaven. But yeah, I guess we're gonna be wrapping up anyway. Maybe someone will sort of pull this off in the next few seconds, in the next few minutes, but who knows? We'll see. Anyway, Mario, anything left to add? Zheng, Yastremska?
No, I think we talked about pretty much all that what we needed to do. So yeah, it's been another time a pleasure for me.
Yeah, solid enough from Zheng today. Probably a less, maybe even impressive performance than against Kaniskaya, but she did the trick. I mean, the last 3 rounds, really, she's been able to handle the pressure coming from suddenly being the favorite to make your first Grand Slam final really well. And hopefully she also delivers in the actual final on Saturday.
Yeah.
Entry to heaven. Yeah, thank you everyone for the comments. Thank you everyone for being here with us, and of course keep tuning into the watch alongs, which I think we're gonna just have them for every single match from now on. And that's the end of it. Joe Deary is excited. I am fairly excited as well, even if I suspect that it might not be that competitive, but we'll see. Hopefully it's just like Sabalenka Goff today, where actually we got a really good match out of it, despite on paper seemingly maybe not that tough. And yeah, tomorrow, of course, the men's semis. Hopefully both of them are competitive. The second one, however, can go to hell. But the first one...
You don't want to see the second one competitive. I know you.
I don't want to see it at all, period.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess I don't mind if it is 5 sets, because I
even if maybe if it is competitive, you can be at some point maybe.
Yeah, I would probably tune in, but no, actually I want to see it straight sets, because then the player who wins has to have some energy to make the final good.
Yeah, that's right. Also,
that's my idea of it, I guess. But anyway, yeah, let's wrap it up here. Thank you guys again, and we'll see you on some other Talking Tennis streams. See ya.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis. There were some Australian Open final vibes for me today, and I was looking at a couple of comparisons. Australia was 2 hours 28 minutes, today was 2:26. I'm sure you weren't aware of that. But I tell you, 4 championship points, does that sound familiar? And were you thinking of it during that last game?
Actually, yes, I was thinking when I was down with the break in the last game. I was thinking, okay, I did it at the Australia Open, so probably I'll be able to get this win this time again. And it's actually helped me to stay focused and to have this belief in myself. And yeah, definitely this match reminds a lot of Australia Open match.